Lucas, don't you want to be a hero?
Oh my
Come
God.
on, let's be heroes together. We'll go in and be heroes at the Haunted Mansion.
Ah. Hey, everybody.
Well, welcome to Why Are You Still Here? The show where we talk about many things, mostly movie related.
Well, first of
And
all, we
before I
have
show
to
you
address
what
the
is
fact
exactly behind my head, huh?
that Brandon isn't here. I have a different co-host. Um, it was weird. He just started. I mean, he's an actor anyway. Really lends to a testament of his acting prowess. But Owen, you really channeled Brandon in the beginning of this video. So Brandon is away
Oh,
on vacation right
wow.
now. So
Thanks.
oh
I was
you.
doing I was doing an impression.
So I have this
No,
this fortuitous
if
moment.
anybody has seen Haunted Mansion, which I hope you have, because that's something we're talking about today, I decided I had to dress up as my favorite character from the movie.
Unironically, that is my favorite character of the movie.
Yeah, no, he's the best.
Fantastic.
100%. So I put a lot of effort into this wonderful costume.
It's very good.
Yes, thank you.
Like I said, you're gonna trigger the copyright, not algorithm, whatever, because you look like
Just
the
by,
actual like it's. I think it's the trailer of the movie.
they'll be like, no, this is the movie. Anyway, before I show you exactly what's behind my head, Lucas, why are we still here?
Oh, we were using it. So I told Brandon, I'm like, hey, I got a triple feature that I'm doing today. Haunted Mansion, smack dab in the middle. You plan on seeing this movie? You're like, I guess I'll see it. And
Are we
I
going to
saw
tell
it
the
before.
people the real story?
Oh wait, Owens, I'm sorry. What's the real story?
We both decided that we were going to see it together before we watched the Wonka trailer, and the newest trailer for Haunted Mansion came up, and we watched that together, and we're both like, wow,
Oh
like
yeah,
Jamie
that
Lee
part.
Curtis,
Because we
Jared
didn't know that
Leto.
all these people were going to be in this movie,
Yeah,
star-studded. Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, like this might be fucking great.
this might actually be really good. And then Lucas went and saw it before I did. And as soon as the movie was over, he texted me and said, don't waste your money on it. It's not good. And I said, well, I still have to see it. So,
Naturally,
yeah, which everything actually has everything except one, because I decided, obviously, the haunted Barbenheimer mansion, right? And because I figured we're never going to talk about Barbie or Oppenheimer, so may as well throw that into this.
yeah, why not?
And Barbie was the only one that Lucas liked. Spoiler alert.
I I that I'm getting Barbie on 4K when that comes out. The movie's awesome, very good. The the hype is real.
Yes.
Everybody's gonna
And
think that I'm gayer than they already do, but whatever.
so let's see here. Let's go in order. I guess Oppenheimer,
I saw
right?
Oppenheimer first anyway, so
Okay, good. And that's the way you're supposed to see it. You're supposed to see Oppenheimer first and then Barbie. That's the way they say to do it if you're going to do a double
I could see
feature.
why.
Um, what did you think about Oppenheimer, Lucas?
It is a finely written film, amazingly acted. It is visually amazing for what it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My problem is it's a Christopher Nolan movie that has no action in it. I mean, like, okay, sure, but what do you think? You think it's pretty bombastic when you think of Christopher Nolan, and then you think of the bomb. So I was just expecting a little bit more out of it. But Robert Downey Jr. is fucking amazing, as well as Cillian Murphy. So I
Oh
mean, it's a good
yeah,
movie. I'm just never gonna watch it again.
everybody is fantastic in the movie. Let's get that out of the way
Like
first.
everybody, even down to even the people that don't talk are great.
Josh Hartnett is really good. It was a shock to see him show up in that movie. And it's funny because he something about him, he doesn't even really look like himself. I watched a review where somebody was like, I think it was Cody Leach, and he's like, I had no idea Gary Oldman was in this movie, and I didn't even know it was Gary Oldman until I saw the credits. This man is a true chameleon. And I was like, out of everybody in the movie, Gary Oldman's the most obvious person. As soon as you see him, you're like,
Oh, there's
yeah,
Gary Oldman.
yeah, there's Gary Oldman. Like, I think he played Truman, right? Um, the president. It's like, yeah, Gary Oldman. Great. And Josh Hartnett, I don't know if just because he's older or because he's shaved or his hair is like slightly longer or what, but it's like he's talking different too. Like he doesn't talk like like he usually does. Which I think of like Michael Myers is dead. Michael Myers, you know. I always think about that. He says Michael Myers weird. But Josh Hartnett talks a very specific way, but he does not talk that way in this movie. And so he was really good. And Robert Downey Jr. obviously talks in a different way too. And it's like accents, but also like inflections. Like people
Hmm.
really changed a lot about themselves in this movie. And I think the story is incredibly interesting. I certainly was not expecting any action in a real life retelling of J. Robert Oppenheimer's life. Like I didn't think like all of a sudden he was going to be on a plane and he need to kick Nazis' asses or something on the plane before it crashed or something. Like what did you expect?
I expected more when the bomb went off. It was just more so emotional than anything. But that's,
Yeah,
I
because
guess,
it's
that's what
not
they're
a
going for.
it's not a good thing. It's a really bad thing. And J. Robert Oppenheimer hated himself for the part that he played in that bomb being created. Hated himself. Like they weren't gonna make the movie like fun when the bomb went off. Like that was a terrible moment in his life. And it haunted him until the day he died, and they did a really good job of showing that too. There's that part of the movie where he's like giving a speech, and it's like, oh, did this somehow become a horror movie where he's seeing everybody in the auditorium dying in front of him?
Hmm.
They're all like burning to death from radiation burns, and like that one woman's skin is like flopping off of her face and stuff. Like yeah, it was terrifying. And the people that survived were like throwing up and whatnot. But um I liked it. I didn't love it. I wish I loved it. But at the end of the day, it was just too long.
I was gonna say maybe if it was shorter, I wouldn't care, but it's 3 hours and you feel it right by 2 hours and 15 minutes. You're like,
Yeah.
good God.
I love the first hour. And I told you this. Like the
Hmm.
first hour is incredible. It had me on the edge of my seat. I was loving everything about it. I really like the way that Christopher Nolan tells the story in a very a very non-linear fashion. Because if it was told in order, the movie would be more boring, let's be honest. So the fact that it does jump around, it's like really, really interesting because of that. And he really did try to poison his teacher as well. Pretty
Really?
crazy.
That
Hmm?
is fucking nuts.
Yeah, yeah, he did. They don't know exactly what it was. It might not have been potassium chloride, but it was something. And obviously the moment is made more dramatic by Niels Bohr there holding the apple. It's like that
Hmm.
probably did not happen as well, but whatever. At the end of the day, I thought it was an enjoyable movie, it probably would have served much better being no more than 2.5 hours. And it's worth a watch though, for sure.
Yeah, I
If
don't
you haven't
regret
watched
seeing
it,
the movie, of course. And I don't hate it either. Let's let that be known.
indeed,
Yes, ma'am.
indeed, go check it out.
Yeah, check it
It's
out.
gonna be nominated for a ton of
And it's
Academy
gonna win
Awards.
a ton of Academy Awards.
Yes, it is. And I hope that see, it's like I hope that Robert Downey
You
Jr.
can't even
I
speak
hope that
today.
I hope that Robert Downey Jr. wins then. I hope Robert Downey Jr. wins, but I really want Cillian Murphy to win too because he was fantastic.
I could,
So many people
yeah.
keep talking about Robert Downey Jr., but it's
I
like
think
let's
I
also
think we'll
talk
go
about
with Killian
Cillian
Murphy.
Murphy. He was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And this was his first starring role in a Christopher Nolan movie too, so
Very good.
very good. The movie itself was just good. Not very, but whatever.
All right, on to the next
Um
one.
it's is worth checking out though. None of these I regretted seeing. Okay, next one. Lucas, what did you think of Barbie?
Thought it was awesome. The first time I saw it, I told you the power went out right when the movie started.
Yep.
Came back. The first 10 minutes or so were like it was no video, it was just audio, and the lights were on, but I'm like, I'm already here. There's like nobody in the theater. So I stayed and I enjoyed it then. But when I saw it again, you know, in a proper setting, I like I loved the movie. Yeah, I don't like it. I love the movie. I don't
Okay.
think like okay, there's all those channels on YouTube, like I guess Geeks and Gamers is just like the prototypical one that I tend to think of, where it's like anytime a new Disney thing comes out, like Star Wars related or anything, they'll say how it's all a plot against white males and trying to empower women, all like diversity hiring and shit. You know, like those kind of people that say like, "Oh, we like the old Star Wars because it's what we grew up with," and blah 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 blah. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know like the archetype of that YouTuber who just basically almost incelic is what it comes across as, like the
Tom
manosphere type
Selleck.
people. It's called like the manosphere. It's like weird guys that just like hate women really hardcore. Anyway, is there like patriarchy stuff, feminist stuff in this movie? Sure, but I do not see this as like a man hating movie whatsoever.
It's not at all.
Because at the beginning of the movie, when Barbie gets her cellulite and just wants to be a fucking perfect plastic doll, at the end of the movie, she says, I don't want to be a human. Your life is fucking awful. I'm going to go back to my perfect life. And she does. And then when she does, it's like, what did you accomplish? Are you really empowering women? No, you're still looking beautiful and doing whatever. So it has none of that going for it. I just don't see any of it. And I don't see all the stuff where they're like at the end of the movie when it was Ken Land or whatever the hell they called it. And then when Barbie started taking back over and they're
Kendom,
Kendom, Femdom, Kendom. Um,
like Kingdom.
so like when the Barbie started to take back over and they're like, oh, it's gonna be all Barbies on the Supreme Court, but we'll give one honorary seat, you know, for something for the guys. And they're like, oh, we're so happy about it. You guys don't find comedy in this gender war? I don't know. People are just taking sides hard with this movie. And I
The
didn't articulate
movie
that as much as I wanted to say, but I guess that's one point I really wanted to make about it.
the movie would be kind of sexist towards guys if they didn't have the moment at the end where Barbie admits that she was wrong with the way that she's treated Ken
Mm-hmm. And
over
I
all
do
these
like that they didn't
years.
get together either, too. The guy didn't get the girl, and it wasn't like a prototypical love story. I'm fine with that too.
I mean, they're
Teaches a
always
lesson.
boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Always. I mean, if you're talking about Barbie and Ken, they certainly did because she's like, I guess every night did not have to be girls' night. I
Mm-hmm.
could have made some time for you. I'm sorry with the way I treated you, like all this kind of stuff. And there's that moment even before that, which is a really funny moment, but it speaks to the fact that the Kens are treated like shit. And that is when the mother and the daughter go into Barbie land and they're like, oh, where do where do the Kens live? And she's like, I don't know. Like she just has no idea. Like they cease to exist when they're out of her vision, basically.
Hmm.
And I think that people are just stupid and they completely miss the point. It's not trying to be like political or anything. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not anything like not politically and sexistly towards sexistly. I made a word there. It's not it's not aimed at degrading men in any way. Keep in mind the movie was written by Greta Gerwig and her
Hmm.
husband. So
Yes, there's definitely
it's
male
not
input
against
in there.
guys.
But
And
anyway,
even
continue if you had.
funnier, every single Barbie you see in the movie and Ken,
Are
yes,
actual
including
Barbies that
Sugar
you can
Daddy
buy.
Ken, they're all real dolls that have
Mhm.
been released by Mattel at one point or another.
Except Alan. There's only been one of him.
Just one Alan. Yep. And he's wearing the exact clothes that the Alan doll wears too. If you look it up, it's so funny. But that's because the other Alans all escaped and joined NSYNC. Um, but yeah, there's just the one Alan and yeah, crazy stuff. Growing up Skipper, where you lift the arms and the boobs get
Hmm.
bigger.
Yeah, I've seen like some of those more obscure ones, like on the internet throughout like history and whatnot, like on YouTube. Like there's a lot of like toy enthusiasts who show these things off, and throughout the years, I've seen a few. And of course, that one's always like that's insane.
That Sugar Daddy Ken though came out in 2015.
Are you fucking serious?
I am dead serious.
That is, unless that was done like funny and then sold at like Spencer's, that's kind of fucked up.
Agreed. So it's like they haven't learned their lessons with everything. The pregnant Midge,
Yeah.
it's like a Barbie named Midge. Don't know why. Yeah, that's hilarious. Because when I first saw it, and I only saw it once, but when I when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that joke is funny." Like the growing up Skipper joke, blah blah. Blah. Like that's funny, you know. But I'm like, it's also like being sexual just for the sake of being sexual. And then I found out like, oh no, that was a real doll. And then like, oh no, the Midge was real too, and the
Hmm.
Sugar Daddy kind of was real. These are all real. And then I was like, it made me love the movie even more. And I think that if I had a negative to say for it, the movie drags in the last 20 minutes. It's kind of like it gets to a point where it's
Oh,
like,
the massive chase scene.
like, come on. Are we going to end this now? Like, there's no reason. And this applies to the last movie we're going to be talking about too.
Hmm.
There's no reason for an hour and a half movie to be 2 hours long. Hollywood, it's okay to make an hour and a half movie.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know why.
acceptable.
Like that's we've talked about it before too, but that's just a trend where like movies are just long now. And as a kid, I would have loved that because there's more time with your, something that you
Yeah.
enjoy. But I see so many movies these days, and not only for the channel, but just on my own volition because of my AMC subscription to the point where it's like sometimes like let's
Hmm.
let's just get the fucking ball rolling. I know we had COVID for so long, but come on.
Yeah. If something isn't 3 hours long, it's most certainly 2 or 2.5 hours
Yep,
long. You
yep.
almost never
I
see
swear to
anything
God,
an
I
hour
swear
and
to
a
God,
half
an,
now.
an hour and 54 minutes versus 2 hours and 25 are the only two run times I see on every movie these days. Like that is everything.
Blue Beetle is like 2 hours and 9 minutes. So there's
Oh
that.
wow, this is the shortest movie of the year.
I know. And it's like movies can drag. You need to be careful about pacing because that
Hmm.
means everything. Like if Barbie did not have it where it did kind of lose its way with the pacing within the last 20 to 30 minutes, then I would say that I loved it too. At the moment I just really like it. But yeah. Taking a step back, Oppenheimer, what's your score out of 10 for that bad boy?
God, a Lucas score, it's a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for me too.
Very good.
Um,
What's your
Barbie,
Barbie score? 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Eight. Eight
Cool.
out of 10 for me. All right. Now on to the last one. Anything else you want to say about Barbie?
I mean, other than like the obvious things about like the set design and the way they were
Oh
able
yeah.
to like on the beach, for example, with the way they just had like the tiered plastic waves roll in, and then Ken was just on it, like acting like it's totally normal, and then
Yeah.
falls on it and hurts himself at one point, and then I do
Yes.
I love the whole the whole part of it at the end when they're like, okay, well, we're gonna like seduce all the Kens, but then turn them all against each other.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that, and then the whole fight when they were just like throwing the plastic darts and then like getting under their arms and being so dramatic, and then Will Ferrell's in there. I mean, it's and Alan when he's headbutting everybody. It's fun. It's just it's
Yeah.
such an entertaining movie. Yeah, I
Alan
guess that's
is
all I want to say.
was great. Um, I thought Will Ferrell was gonna annoy me in the movie because he can annoy me sometimes a little bit.
Hmm.
Like in the Lego movie, for instance, anytime the Lego movie cuts back to real life and you see Will Ferrell just as his dad, like I don't know if you've ever seen the Lego movie. You should, but basically the entire movie is being played out by a kid playing with his dad's
Oh, that's
Lego
cute.
sets. And so
That's really
sometimes
cool.
it'll end and it'll go to like real life and you'll see the kid playing with the Legos and the dad is
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell and he's a bit douchey. And even though I still think he was the right person for the role, when he plays that kind of character, it's almost like the Ben Stiller character, like the cocky piece of shit, basically,
Hmm.
for lack of a better word. Um, I sometimes get annoyed, and I didn't feel that way though with this. I actually loved every scene with him. Like he was
Yeah,
really
you
good.
didn't see you just saw it in like regular digital, right?
Yes. Yeah, I saw
You
that
know,
MJR.
Will Ferrell has like pink eyeliner around him in the movie.
I did not. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think the other ones did, but I'm like a 99.999% sure the lights were on in the theater. Because the second time I saw it, it wasn't in Dolby, it was just in digital, so watch it that way.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yeah, whatever. Anyway, no, I liked it. I loved Weird Barbie too, by the way. I thought that was so funny to have the one fucked up one, and she's permanently doing the splits against like the wall. And then they show
Yeah.
like a girl like mangling Barbie and cutting her hair because that's exactly like what the haircut would look like, kind of,
Yeah, yeah,
off
yeah.
on that angle. Like it's just
Right. With marker on the face and everything.
the attention to detail and the self-awareness is funny. Like at the end when
Yeah.
Margot Robbie is like talking about how like it doesn't matter, like what everybody's beautiful, girl power bullshit. And then the movie, I don't remember it verbatim, but then the movie stops and it's like maybe Margot Robbie isn't the perfect person to be saying this, and it's so because it's like she's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. It's
So
Helen Mirren going, note to Hollywood. Margot Robbie's probably not the right person for this line.
I was cracking up the whole movie. It's awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And
Very,
the
very
the
good.
founder, like the creator of Barbie,
Yeah.
has an office in the Mattel building.
Yeah. The only thing
Like,
is
yeah,
since it's
she's got a ghost office on our floor.
so the only thing that sucks about it, and you know how I feel about this, but the movie made so much money, it's gonna get a sequel. The sequel is gonna suck. So
Maybe people have brought up the point that it seems like Greta Gerwig has shoved everything that was in her mind into this movie, like everything that you can do with Barbie.
mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see. There's no guarantee that she'll be the one that's helming the sequel as well, but I hope
Maybe
so because it seemed like
yeah,
she knew what she was doing.
yeah.
And I don't know if you know, but Margot Robbie was the person who um got Ryan why can't I think of his
Ryan
name? Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling. The guy, the guy that sings and Remember the Titans. Um Did you know that was him? He's in Remember
No,
the
just like I didn't
Titans.
know Hayden Panettiere was in it either.
Yeah, you're a dumbass. Um, Hayden Panettiere, Luke, side note, Lucas is like one of his biggest loves of Hollywood, Hayden Panettiere,
In
and he
high
didn't
school,
know that she was in
I
Remember the
yeah,
Titans. It
I
was like such a huge identifiable part for her. You were gonna say something about high school.
just in high school, like
I don't care. So
I
anyway, no.
yeah, no, she was like, oh, who's your celebrity crush? Definitely Hayden Panettiere, bro. Just look at her, man. Why do you think I love Scream 4 so much?
There's many reasons. There's many stupid reasons.
That charge that moved between us just then? Oh, that was me.
Anyway, Margot Robbie was the reason that Ryan Gosling got hired. So she really wanted him to play Ken. In her mind, he was the only person that could play Ken. And so she actually called him and kept calling him and begging him. And she even said to Greta Gerwig, I mean, I know where he lives. Should I camp outside his house? And she was like, no, don't do that. You're gonna make him not want to do it. But yeah, she was able to convince him, and I'm so
Good.
happy that she did because he is my favorite part of the movie. Like honestly, I could just take off this
Yes.
hat and be like, I'm Ken now.
You're you're
I'm
Kenough.
not particularly good at anything on the beach, so I just beach. I'll beat you off. Let's have a beach off.
I'll beat you off right now. Nobody's beaching anybody
I'll
off.
beach
I
everyone
I
off.
loved all the adult humor in the movie. Like when Barbie was like, you know, when they're on like the skateboard or the skateboard on the roller skates and everyone's
Yeah,
fucking staring at them. It's obviously the construction zone part when she's like,
I don't
"Oh,
have a
there's a construction
vagina.
zone." Yeah, and then he's like, "Well, I don't fucking care." It's like,
Yeah, I don't know
and
what
then
that means, but okay.
and then
That part was funny.
because I guess she has a mouth. Like, is that like
Oh,
the joke?
that's true.
And
That's
then
true.
Ken just goes by and he goes, "I have all the genitals." It's like,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't have a vagina. He doesn't have a penis either. And he's like, oh, what are you talking about? I've got a penis. I've got everything or whatever. Yeah, all the genitals. Yeah, that was funny.
yeah. And then when he was trying to get a job, the various different things he was doing, thinking that the world was run by men and horses. Like, I mean,
And he was
Mount
so
Rushmore is all
disappointed when
horses.
it turns out horses had nothing to do with it. Like the entire reason he doesn't become evil and the villain of the movie is simply because horses had nothing to do with it. The
The
whole
patriarchy.
patriarchy, I think.
Oh God, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And they turned the Mount
Mount
Rushmore
Rushmore into
into
all
just
horses.
horses. Yeah, that was good.
And then it has like hip hoppy version of like the 2001 like monolith like thing going. It's just it's so good.
Of like the Barbie song you're talking about. Oh no, I got it. They had that too. The I'm a
Hmm.
Barbie girl
Yeah,
in a
through the
Barbie
credits.
world. No, yeah, the 2001 Odyssey,
Hmm.
Space Odyssey. When I saw the movie, I was thinking, oh, I feel bad for Lucas that he missed this part of the movie because there's no way that you could understand what was going on that screen. That
Hmm.
it was literally like a shot for shot remake of that movie, and all you were seeing was blackness and sound,
Yep.
and it's like
So
that's a
I didn't
shame.
know that was the opening of the movie. So when I saw it
Right.
again, I'm like,
Yeah. And people were like, you know, you know what they're doing. They're trying to push little girls into pushing against being a mother. They're telling you that you should never be a mother
and that
and
you
that it's
shouldn't,
bad for
you
girls to
don't
be
need to be with
mothers.
men. You don't need to have relationships. You have to be an independent woman. That kind of because one of our managers said the same thing about that movie. Guess which one it was? Guess, honey. Guess which one it was? That Barbie's a bad movie because men
she
need to be powerful still.
she doesn't make any sense to me, and she doesn't know what she's talking about.
When she's, I literally walked away because I'm like, you have, because I said the movie was great. She's like, honey, but all this stuff, you are men. What it says, men are bad. I'm like, you okay? You didn't see the movie. How are you going to tell me that?
She doesn't know what she's talking about. There's no point in even paying any attention to it.
So
And
yeah,
she doesn't even know what English is. Anyway, but um what were we saying? What
we're
evoked
talking about
that?
2001, talking
Oh
about
yeah, so
the
so
opening.
yeah, there's people out there, one prominent guy that works for like some news website, and he's like, this is wrong because it's showing little girls that it's wrong to be a mother and that you need to push against that and all this stuff. And it's like, do you not understand that that was just a joke of 2001 A Space Odyssey? They're not telling you to destroy your, because they were like, up until this point, little girls only had dolls and they could pretend that they were mothers. Not that there's anything
Hmm.
wrong with that, but it's more fun to have a Barbie, that kind of thing. And it's like, he's like, they're destroying it, they're hitting them on the ground. This is Hollywood's message that no women
You
should
just
ever
put
be a
like you
mother.
just overlay like a transparent video of like the costumed apes smashing skulls
Yeah,
around the
yeah.
fucking monolith. Ah,
The guy that
I
said that obviously doesn't even know what 2001 A Space Odyssey is, because they weren't trying to say anything like that. It's nothing about like the movie really has no agenda. It's not
yeah.
trying to get any point across at all. It's a movie. It's just a movie.
So
Like
that's
it
something I
might say
absolutely
that
love about it
women,
because some more modern movies, some more modern Disney movies are more feminist than this movie is. I thought this movie was going to be completely
yeah,
shoehorned of feminism, but I held out that hope, because the trailers look promising. But it completely shattered my expectations with like, I mean, just across the board. Like, it's literally one of the best movies of the year.
yeah,
It's awesome.
it is good.
And
And
everybody I know that's seen it likes it. I haven't heard anybody that in person
it
that
hit
has
$1 billion
actually seen it. Yeah, I
as
know. It
well.
hit it
So
yesterday, I think, or the day before. It was like really recently. And I'm glad. So
the
glad to have
controversy is just
contributed to it.
stupid. It's people that
Agreed.
just don't understand what's going on. Um, Anything else about Barbie
Now I
before
think
we
I've
move
covered
on to
my
the
bases.
last? All right. Now the final,
The final.
Lucas's favorite movie of the year. Haunted Mansion. Wow. The chair. Look at me. I'm I'm an exorcist.
So
Wow.
Haunted
Or
Mansion
am
was
I?
Haunted Mansion was smack dab in the middle of my triple feature that I had the other day. I saw Barbie again was the first movie, which that should just have been the fucking last one. Um,
Yeah.
but I saw that one and then I saw Talk to Me after, and Brandon doesn't think he's gonna see it in theaters, so tune in for my stupid ass talking without him. The channel just implodes right after that. Um, but Haunted Mansion. So I saw this one and it was a movie that I figured I would see anyway, but I really obviously you can see um when we talked about it, Jared Leto, Jamie Lee, Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, like you have all these awesome characters in this movie, and then I'm like, oh, the movie's PG-13. Are they gonna like toe this family horror line with one of
Yeah.
the most iconic dark rides of all time? Like I remember though, I've been at Disney World once. It was in 2001, so I was like 7, I think. And
Yep. Me too.
I went to I was a lot of rides. Haunted Mansion was obviously there, and I remember going. It was me, my brother, and my dad. And as a little kid, that was horrifying. It actually was genuinely scary. As an adult, I've watched people film going through it. It's not scary, but I remember like a lot of the iconic scenes, like the ballroom dancing, the dinner scene, all the
Yeah.
hidden
Super
Mickeys
cool.
there. Yup, and then just the way they were able to project all the ghosts through that. Like my
Mm-hmm.
little kid mind was fucking blown. The
Yeah.
animatronics were
Called Pepper's
creepy. The
Ghost.
stretching room, yup, like all these cool, the graveyard, the singing busts, like all these
Mm-hmm.
iconic things. And then when you get to the top of the I mean, you get to the top, your dune buggy leans back and then you spiral down, which they alluded to multiple times with that in the movie.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it. I'm like, is it going to be it's PG-13 with these actors? They utilize not a
Mm-hmm.
goddamn bit of it.
Well,
Okay, that's an understatement. All right. However,
Massive understatement.
massively underutilized certain things.
Or overstatement. It's
I
wrong.
it's wrong. Okay. I just my main issue
It's
with the movie is that for me, I didn't really care until the last third of the movie when all hell broke loose because that was a lot of fun. Um, Again, I said I didn't really care for Lakeith Stanfield. It's not like he's bad. It's just everybody else I felt just was so much more energetic and was having so much more fun than him. Maybe he's supposed to be playing a laid back, like not give a fuck guy. Maybe that's
he's
his
sad.
demeanor.
He's
And
depressed.
and then I guess I get that too, but I'm also sick of the dead wife, the single mother trope where the guy comes in and saves it, and it's always sad. I'm so sick of that and everything. Next to Tom Hanks, that's getting irritating.
At least nobody he didn't get together with anybody else. Because I kept
Okay,
thinking
then
like is he and Rosario Dawson going to get together, which is just so it just
played
feels
out.
so played out and just wrong because they both are recent widows, like it just would be so stupid.
So the
And they
only
didn't.
thing that I'll give the love story that works in Lakeith Stanfield's favor was when he was explaining why he made like that projector gun to see his wife.
He's
Like
crying and stuff.
I'm like, oh my God, Brandon, I'm gonna start crying. It's so sad. Like that was good. Like that was good shit. But for me, it was like I would just prefer to see all of these cast of bumbling buffoons minus him because Danny DeVito, uh, Jared Leto. Well, okay, Jared Leto. We'll get to that part. That's that's probably my biggest issue with the movie, by the way.
My biggest issue too.
Okay, cool. So then we can dedicate some time to that. No, it's just I preferred the supporting cast much more than your main actor you're supposed to be looking after. So yeah, that's just my opinion, which has been known to be
I
convoluted
don't
at
know if
times.
there's a whole lot of people that are like supporting in the movie. It's kind of like, I mean, definitely Lakeith Stanfield's character is Ben, I think. He is like the
Yes.
star of it, but it really is sort of like a ensemble movie
I
where
guess you're right.
a lot of the people are like starring in this movie. Um, I disagree completely. I feel very much like everybody else was saying that because you're the first person that said anything bad about Lakeith Stanfield. Like he's being praised, like everybody's praising him. And I don't know if I would say would praise him, but I really liked him. I really liked the character. He's so sarcastic and snide and mean. And like right off the bat, I loved him by how he was talking to the tour group when he was giving the tour. Like he's being such a douchebag to them. And I just thought that was so funny. And he just pulled me into his character right away. And I just liked him from there going forward. I can understand you like wanting him to be like more emotional, possibly, but he must have just been directed like that to not be super emotional. He's sort of like the black talented Keanu Reeves. If because I love Keanu Reeves, but the guy
I really don't know anything else that Lakeith Stanfield has been in. So I
you've
really
seen some of the things he's been
okay.
in.
So
One, if not two, are on your list of favorite movies ever.
where the hell is this guy hiding?
He's there right out in your face. He is one of the stars of Knives Out. He should be on the cover.
Actually, I'll go grab the cover.
I thought that's what you're going for.
No, I was going to kill myself.
Oh, okay. You could do that afterwards. His name might be even on the cover as well. Yep. 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 For people that don't know, this is one of Lucas's like favorite movies ever.
That movie's fucking great. One of the best recommendations Brandon ever gave me.
And he's not like the lead of the movie, but you could say that he stars in the best Jordan Peele movie, Get Out.
That's him too?
Yeah. He's the guy that is at the he's like the first black man that they encounter like at the party where he's like, "Oh, it's
Is he
good
the one
to."
in the yellow jacket? I
He's wearing
think.
like a hat,
Yeah, something.
like a
Okay.
straw hat,
Yes,
and
yes. I
the
know the guy.
main character Daniel Kaluuya is like, "Oh, it's so good to see another brother here." And this guy's like, "Pleased to make your acquaintance." And then he starts to like get weird. That's him. That's Lakeith Stanfield. So
Yeah, I
two
still
great
Brandon,
movies
that's phenomenal. In this
you
not
love
so great movie, I still don't like him as
has him in
much.
it. And
That's
he's probably in
fantastic.
more too, but that's
Great
the first two I think of.
great trivia. We're talking about the haunted, not the haunted mansion, haunted mansion.
I like how we go from me being like, Lucas, he's in two of your favorite movies, and then you go grab it. He's on the cover with his name on the cover, and then you're like, Brandon, we're not even talking about this. We're talking about the haunted mansion.
Well,
Anyway,
at least I showed humility by grabbing it, Brandon. I could have just completely played stupid than
until this gets
usual.
cut out of the video when you release it. Anyway, whatever. Lucas has some humility,
That's what keeps me going.
I suppose.
If I didn't, well, anyway.
Anyway, I
So
thought he was good in it, and everybody else was good in it too. Um this one's so new that we should give a spoiler warning. So before we go into things that could be spoilery, what is your rating of this movie?
I gave it a 5 in the short, I think, but I'm gonna bump that up to a 6.
Okay. I give it a 7 out of 10
Okay.
personally. And some of the things I have written down, I have like 6 notes. They're the setting is phenomenal because
Mm-hmm.
the Haunted Mansion is only in New Orleans in Disneyland. Okay. In Disney World, it is not. It's
What are you
in the
talking
Magic
about?
Kingdom.
Oh, I thought you were saying a haunted mansion wasn't in Florida. I'm like, then what did I go to?
I don't know. Where did you go? It's so weird. Yeah, it's in New Orleans Square in Disneyland. Obviously, that is the original Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
That was there when the park opened. People died in there. It's the one that supposedly is haunted in and of
Mm-hmm.
itself. That was the only one that had the Hatbox Ghost in it up until like 5 days ago. And the one in Florida did not have a
I didn't know that.
it did not have a Hatbox Ghost until like 5 days ago, the Florida one.
Mm,
Ever. If you can
interesting.
believe that. It had Madame Leota,
Leota.
and that's it. Um, the movie is very, very funny. I was not expecting how funny it was going to be. It was in the humor is like kind of dark too, and I was just not expecting that. Owen Wilson stole the show.
100%.
Oh
100%.
wow!
From the moment he came in
Wow.
as the exorcist, I'm just like, I'm sold. It's Owen fucking Wilson. It's awesome. I mean, especially after all our
Yep,
jokes recently, it was too much. It was too much for me to handle.
correct. Um, we'll get specific about this, but Jamie Lee Curtis and Jared Leto, 2 Academy Award winners,
Let's talk about
are
them.
very underutilized. Oh, we'll get back there. I don't think we can say more than that without it
Oh,
becoming
true.
spoilery. Um, yep, and that's it. The rest are spoilers. So yeah, I mean, I would say go check it out. Again, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Lucas gave it a 6 out of 10. We have pretty opposing views on it. So I enjoyed it very much like Barbie. I think it could have been an solid hour 45. It would have been solid.
Yeah.
Because there are parts that drag, but they also, they keep the ghost sprinkled throughout though as well. There's never like a lull in the movie where just nothing happens. Like they keep it going quite a bit. And everything I remember from the ride gets a tribute in
Oh,
the
that's
movie.
that's the best thing about the movie is its insane amount of fan service.
Yeah. The ballroom, they show
The
the ballroom
ballroom, the stretching
twice.
room, the dune buggies,
The stretching
all the
room, of
ghosts.
course. Yeah. Was the doom buggy supposed to be like when the chair comes and sweeps them up? Okay.
And then it takes them through and then it falls back and goes down because it, like I said, you go up the mansion and then it leans back
Yeah.
and you spiral back down.
Yeah. The attic, the
Mm-hmm.
two guys that draw the guns on each other, like that's all
Yep, that's
things
all.
from the ride. Again, the Hatbox Ghost, who is the main villain, which we'll get there. But at the end of the day, I would say go check it out. It's not super kid friendly though. I think the original Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy was
That's
PG,
PG.
and that movie feels very PG and is very much so a
Yes.
kids movie. This one has some moments. It was never overtly scary to me, an adult, a human man. However, there's some times where I'm like, that might be pushing it a little bit, like with the bride in the attic with the axe. And
The bride was one of the things that scared me. I remember there's some animatronic of a bride.
there is in the attic, yes.
Okay.
And in the Disneyland version, New Orleans Square, that's where the Hatbox Ghost is, as well as in the attic, because she chops off heads and his head was obviously chopped off by her. She's probably his husband. She's probably his husband. He's his husband. Yeah, he's probably her husband. And that has always just been sort of like lore behind the scenes. They changed that for this movie drastically, but I don't know if I
What are
really
you gonna? Yeah, I don't give a damn.
care.
Like
People
Harrison
that are
Ford, I
really
don't give
big
a
fans
damn.
of the ride probably will care,
Well, of
but
course, Disney fans are the fucking most up their asses anal about things. Like you can go to forums upon forums of like 45-year-old men complaining about like minuscule changes to like the Disney parks and how their childhood's completely ruined.
yeah, yeah, I get that. Though I can understand where they're getting at though with this, because keep in mind, like, let's say you went on that ride for your entire life. Like, let's say you have an annual pass, you're an animal. Oh my
Geez, you
God.
cannot talk today.
You are an annual pass holder and you live in California and you constantly go there, right? Let's say that. And you've gone there 75 times. It's your favorite ride. Okay. You
Okay,
know,
fine. I'll be fucking mad about the fact that it's changed, but I don't care right
yes,
now. Fuck,
but you would
I
if
don't
you were a
care.
fan,
Not my problem.
like that kind of fan.
I'm a fan of Hack the Movies, not that.
So it's fine. The movie's fine. I keep getting distracted.
I'm gonna get this train rolling. I'm gonna get this dune buggy back on track here.
Indeed.
So
So
anyway, we've done our spoiler
spoilers.
free whatever. So this is spoiler. This is my biggest
Yes.
problem with the movie is that of course the two that I'm looking forward to the most are the
Mm-hmm.
two that you can put me in the role of the Hatbox Ghost and nothing would have fucking changed because it's all CG and the voice is so modified that it's not Jared Leto. It's Jared Leto's name on the fucking cover of the movie to sell it,
Yep.
and it really bothers me.
Yep.
Jamie Lee, you can't even tell it's her until it's like the live version of her, and she looks like
Oh,
fucking Cleopatra or whatever.
I could tell it was her
And I
when she
guess,
was the
but
Leota in the
however,
ball.
still, again, it's Jamie Lee of Halloween fame. You're not gonna do anything better with that. Sorry. I
Oh no, I
just
agree.
it bothers me. And that's I think my biggest issue with it. Because they were the reason I want to see it in the first place. And then guess what? Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito just killed. Like, are they the best for me? So whatever.
I am not entirely convinced that Jared Leto ever stepped foot on the set.
In fact, I'm entirely convinced that he had nothing to do with this movie whatsoever.
I'm entirely convinced that all of Jamie Lee Curtis's scenes were shot over Zoom until she had to be in person for that one scene.
Uh-huh.
They're like, okay, Jamie, get your face really close to the camera, and I'm Madame Leota. You better be careful with that book. Don't touch it, and they just took that and they're like, all right, good. Thanks, Jamie. They're like, okay, so they probably added her last second because they're like, she's an Oscar winner. We need to throw her in the movie. And then Jared Leto, they're probably like, we have this one character, the Hatbox Ghost. Do you want to play it? And he's like, well, I'm busy. And they're like, oh no, it's already filmed. The voice is already done. The performance is already done. The CGI is already done. Can we just use a couple photos of you in the movie and say it's you? And he's probably like, yeah, sure. Because that's the only time you can tell it's Jared Leto is when they show the version of the Hatbox Ghost when he's Alistair. And it's like, okay, and that's it. They don't even have flashbacks actually of Jared Leto in normal form.
Yep.
It's like drawings. It's really weird.
It's fucking stupid is what it is. So
yeah.
I mean, I like it more than the other version because that movie's just stupid. But no, I like the Easter eggs and I liked a few of the performances, but it's not one I'm gonna watch again. And that's all I have to say.
Interesting.
I have a pizza burning in the oven.
Yes.
I have a 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour pizza in the oven.
I know it's gonna be really burnt. I probably will watch it again. I don't know when. I don't plan on buying it though. And I enjoyed it. Obviously more than Lucas, but it could have been better for sure. And I just think it would have been so much, knowing how good of an actor Jared Leto is, which, side note, supposedly we might be getting the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad soon, which will show the entire hour of footage of Jared Leto's Joker that was cut from that movie. So we will actually get to see his true performance as the Joker, and he is a great actor. So why
I'm not holding
not
my breath.
throw some prosthetics on his face, actually have him there in person, and have him play the Hatbox Ghost like that? It would have been incredible. It would have truly, it would have stolen the show probably more than Owen Wilson because he is such a good actor.
Yep.
And it's just a shame that they went that way with it. Because there probably was a stand-in on set, but it definitely wasn't him. I would bet my right testicle on that. Like I said, it was funny. One of my favorite parts was when Ben first saw the Hatbox Ghost and they're like, oh, did he look human? And he was like, yeah, sort of. He had
the trailer part,
eyelids on his eyes, and he didn't have, like his smile was protruding, and he had his head in a hat box, and he could barely walk because of his cane, all this kind of stuff. And Owen Wilson's like, what part of that is sorta? Because he's like, yeah, sorta look human. What part of that is sorta? And that got actually a really big laugh from the audience I was in. And my last note is that twist, I didn't even know it was a twist because I guessed that the little boy's father was dead since the first 10 minutes of the movie.
I thought that was just fucking
they acted
implied.
Like they revealed that it was they acted like that was a big twist where he's like, oh, my dad wants me to visit him, it's gonna upset my mom, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, his dad's obviously dead, obviously. And within the last 10 minutes of the movie, Ben's like, he wants to go visit his father. And she's like, that's not possible. And he's like, he still talks to his father. I just think you should know that. And she's like, but he's been dead. And he's like, what? Like, it's like this moment of the movie where you're supposed to be like, oh my God. But I was like, yeah. And it wasn't even him. It was a Hatbox Ghost he was talking to as well. So, in conclusion, they didn't go for the low-hanging fruit of the two getting together, and they didn't go for the low-hanging fruit of them both having a conversation with their dead loved ones, because they could have done it.
Yes.
Yeah, so they could have certainly have done that, and they didn't. So, you know what? I give the movie a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite movie of the year. And I love it. I think Jared Leto is just fantastic in it. I mean, he might win another Oscar.
Yeah, sure. Wishful thinking on your end, Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's gonna get one too. They're all gonna get one. All honorary Oscars all around.
All right, Brandon. It's been fun.
Oh wow.
But that's all I gotta say.
Wow.
All right, everybody. Tune in for Lucas talking about Talk to Me at some point within the next week. And then tune in for tomorrow. What is today? Tuesday? Tune in Thursday for another short that Lucas is making. What is it?
I don't even know what that could possibly be. I have no idea of any movie coming out.
I mentioned it to you. There's no way that you probably, okay, maybe you've seen the trailer. You know, I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm going to go see the movie, and then you can find out what it is when I post my short.
Is there a new Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants coming out?
Yes, it'll be the third one, actually. I'm a big fan of the first two.
Yeah, I see that there's a Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 coming out too.
Yes, I actually did see the poster for that.
That's Lucas's favorite franchise.
Next to Legally Blonde. Unironically, I love the first Legally Blonde movie.
Second one's pretty good too.
Never seen it. Anyway, tune in for my solo review of Legally Blonde 2.
Red, White, and Blonde.
That's what it is. I was going to say Going to the Capitol, but that didn't sound cinematic or correct.
We watched it in history class, and
wow, it was a real historical event. I love it.
They liked it. The teacher liked it for its historical properties and whatnot.
Yes, but I'm not going to keep going on tangents with you, Brian. I gotta end this video because this is gonna take me like an hour to process this with my slow ass.
Now let's talk about every movie that we're looking forward to in the next 6 months.
Bye, everybody.
Oh wow.